Welcome back to
Dr. J
NG Reviews. Today we're going to review His and Hers Netflix while doing a mukbang. Got taco salad. It's Taco Tuesday, so we're going to do.
Alright, we're going to start off. We took notes while we were watching episode by episode. So we're just going to be doing some commentary while we eat. Kind of having a discussion on things. Some surprises that I figured out. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
A lot of twists and turns. Someone told me that before we watched it, and they were right. They were right. It was a lot of twists and turns. All right, let's take our first bite then. We're going to get into it. Break my shell up. We did the bowls this time. We never do the bowls when we do taco salad. We always do like nachos, but I'm gonna break my bowl up and eat it like that. And we did ground turkey. We've been meal prepping, so we did ground turkey. It's pretty good.
It's real good. I actually like the bowls as well. You're always making nachos, so give it a different flavor.
All right, so episode 1, we get into it. I think they first show us Anna at the dentist or something like that, and they're pulling her teeth. No, they told her she had one infected tooth. They told her they can either pull it or, she take the antibiotics and, get rid of the infection. That was her scene that we first got to learn her. She's one of the main characters. And then the second main character, Detective Jack. Talk about how we first saw Detective Jack. How they introduced us to Detective Jack Harper.
Detective Jack was introduced to us. He was headed to go look for a murder. They had found a body. Him and his assistant, Dr. Prill. And so,
You call her Dr. Prill? You think we watching Married at First Sight, ain't it?
No, that's the wrong person. Priya is her name. But they went to go dig deeper in some information they had found.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed from their interaction, Detective Harper and Priya, is that he didn't seem to respect Priya. Even though she seemed very intelligent and knowledgeable, he didn't seem to respect her. Did you get that?
Yeah, it seemed like he undermined her a lot.
Yeah.
I guess because he had more experience and all that.
Yeah, then it goes on to showing us, both the detectives working a scene. And then we go on to Anna and her lifestyle and everything that was going on with her background, getting to know her, being a news anchor and being off for a year. And they briefly mentioned, something tragic happened to her over that year. They briefly mentioned it in this episode. She convinces her old supervisor to let her go work the murder case that Detective Jack Harper is on. She convinces her boss to let her go as a field reporter because she was the news anchor. Now somebody has taken that job and she's trying to get her job back. So she convinces them to let her work the case, and they do. She goes out there. She's the only one bold, said something. She called Jack out. What did she say to Jack?
She called him out. Yeah, she's telling him like you know who it is. And, you need to let everybody know, the public know. But he told her, and that's why she felt like she had to say something.
Yes, yeah. So part of that, she was telling him, asked him, did he know who the victim was? Like you said. Then we fast forward to a few scenes, and we forgot to mention that Anna, her old job, the new news anchor that has replaced her, requested that her husband, who is a cameraman, be the one that comes with her to do the field reporting. So next scene, few scenes go by after they leave. Him and her are discussing, Anna and the cameraman, Richard, are discussing the case and why she called him out and how did she know, that he may know the victim. Next scene, we pop up. Here go the two of them engaging.
Yeah, it's like she saw him out from the beginning. She was attracted to him or what, but they was all over each other. And then Jack, her husband, found out what room she was in and was following them. She left the room running away because he followed her all the way.
Yeah, and then Then a couple of scenes after that, Anna goes to a random house. We don't know. Well, after Jack catches them engaging, she pulls off. Anna pulls off. She runs out of the hotel and pulls off. She drives to a house. We don't know whose house it is. I thought it was Jack's house.
Yeah.
Because I also forgot to mention, after Anna and Richard are engaging, Anna goes haywire and Richard is trying to figure out why. So Richard discovers that, hey, she confesses, hey, I'm married to Jack, detective. That's why he acting like that, because we're married. So after that, then she runs out and gets in the car and drives to the house. I thought she was driving to Jack's house to confront him for banging on the door and stuff like that, but she wasn't. Whose house did she pull up to?
She pulled up to her mom's house.
Yeah.
Mom lives alone, older lady. She apparently hadn't been over there in a while, and she was surprised to see her and everything. And it just looked like she needed to be at home. So she went back home, seen her mama, and they trying to catch up. And then Jack come over there. They arguing about he didn't call her, but he the one that's saying about her mama, saying about her checking on her and everything.
And from the looks of it, it appears that her mom has dementia. So Jack been coming to check on the mom, see how she doing. He had the conversation with Anna like, you need to see what's going on with your mom. You know, she been wandering at night. And she doesn't even remember stuff. She fixes tea. It ain't no tea in there. It's just hot water. So you need to really check on your mom and see what's going on. She, at that time, after that scene, then it goes to where they figure out they're arguing. And Anna asks, you know, who it is. Who is the victim. And Jack wrestles with telling her or not. You can tell that he is trying to figure out if he should tell her or not. But he ultimately does tell her that it's her childhood friend that she grew up with, Rachel Hawkins.
Yes.
And he tells her that she was stabbed 40 times.
In the middle of the woods.
Yeah. So he tells her those two details. Just remember that. He tells her those two details. And then it goes back and forth between scenes, but one of the scenes that it goes into on this episode is telling us some additional details that he did not tell her. One of the things that they found out that he did not tell her was that there was fresh swimmers found in Rachel, and then she had a friendship bracelet in her mouth. So those are some of the details that he did not tell Anna. But the people working the case knew those few details without being shared. But later that night, of course, Anna trying to get her job back with the scoop. What does she do?
Oh yeah, she go get an interview. She did the interview about Rachel, telling who it is, where they found it and everything.
Yeah, she goes ahead and releases the details about what's happening. To end the episode, we get a flashback, an old scene of Jack engaging with Rachel. And while he's engaging with Rachel in the backseat of his car in the woods, this is a flashback, right? He's engaging with Rachel in the backseat of his truck in the woods. In the corner of the screen is Anna watching.
Yep.
Then they go to the next episode.
She saw the whole thing.
So episode 2 starts off, Jack is mad because Anna released that information. They have a conversation about, her always doing stuff like that, always looking out for herself, not caring about anybody else. They have that conversation. Then the next scene, it goes to us meeting Rachel's husband. What you got on Rachel's husband?
Yeah, so Rachel's husband, he like this rich dude. He own like a whole bunch of pizza places or whatever. So they go talk to him, and he's saying he ain't seen her, and he been calling her phone and everything. He's sick or whatever he says, so he don't go a lot of places. Yeah, so they go talk to him. He basically, trying to say he don't know what she is, but he knows something that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, and they also found out while they were leaving, so it was Detective Harper or Jack and Priya who went out to talk to Mr. Duffy, the husband. While they were leaving out the door, he was like, yeah, that news reporter, Anna, was by here this morning. So she had stopped by and talked to him before they got there. Anna had already tried to get the scoop from him. He turned down doing the interview, but excuse me. She had already reached out to him. So after the news aired where Anna gave that extra scoop, it goes to a clip. It jumps to a clip of Lexi, who is the news anchor that took Anna's spot. It jumps to a clip of her watching Anna and Richard in the live broadcast, and he helping her take off her earpiece and stuff. They all smiling, giggling, and Lexi like,
she trying to take my man.
Yeah, I gotta watch her. Not only is she trying to come back for her spot, she's trying to take my man right along with it. She's just trying to take my life. So after that, it jumps to a clip of Rachel's husband arguing with some woman on the phone. We don't know who it is, but it's a lady. It's a lady voice.
Yep. And
while Jack and Priya were talking to Jeffy, they told him, hey, if you keep calling Rachel's phone,
it's gonna die.
It's gonna die. So please stop calling her phone so we can find it or locate it. Use the signal to locate it while it's still, charged. But he, after he gets off the phone with this lady, continues to call Rachel's phone. So I'm like, does he want it to die?
Right, because he acting real suspicious.
Yeah. Then after that scene, we move to finding out that Anna, her mother was actually the housekeeper to all of these people in the neighborhood. The town that they're in, very small.
Dahlonega, Georgia.
So her mom was the housekeeper for all of these wealthy people. The town had some pretty wealthy people or well-off people, and her mom was a housekeeper. So when they said that, I automatically was like, that don't make for a good childhood for a lot of people because of what their thoughts. And she was like one of the only black people there with all white people. The next scene, it shows us or introduces us to Helen Wang. And Helen Wang, explain who Helen is.
Helen is another one of their friends. They used to be with them. But she's like well off now, rich and everything. And she's live a extravagant life.
And so, she is now, isn't she now the dean at the school?
Yeah, she's the dean at
the all-girls school that these people went to. So Anna, Rachel, now we have Helen that went to the all-girls school. So those are the characters that we are introducing their friend group so far. Helen talks about some 20-year-old secret that they have.
Yeah, it's a real bad secret.
But we don't know what it is just yet.
Yeah, we don't know what it is, but it's something that's gonna rock everybody.
So next scene, pretty weird. We have Jack Harper coming home to his niece and his sister. At first, when it first opened up, and I know Gabe talked a little about Jack, but he didn't mention that the introductory scene for Jack included his niece and his sister. Gabe, when they first showed them, who did you think that was? You thought it was his wife and his daughter.
Yeah. I thought it was his wife and his daughter, but it's his sister and her daughter. He took them in.
No. We don't know at this point the situation. That wasn't the situation. He didn't take them in, but we didn't know the situation of what had happened at that point. So we won't talk about it. But the weird thing about that scene, Jack takes one of the swabs from his kid from the crime scene and swabs it inside of his niece Meg's mouth. What are you thinking there?
I was thinking like he trying to cover his tracks. He trying to, leave the investigation. So yeah, we like, why he doing that? But it's all because he's hiding something. Y'all gonna see about what we talking about and why he was acting like this and doing all this weird stuff.
Yeah, then after that, next thing we see is his sister, what was her name? Zoe?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She sees the boots and she tells Meg, if I'm remembering right, she tells Meg, hey, take your Uncle Boots, get them out the way, because they in the way. Take them upstairs or whatever. Jack, during all of this, because we missed some points, we only giving out the highlights, but during all of this, Jack is riding in the car with his side detective Priya, and he found Rachel's phone. We told y'all him and Rachel were engaging in the backseat of his car. Turns out it was the night of her unaliving. So after that, with the phone, he takes the phone home. He tries to go through it, and he finds his selfies that he sent to her, and he deletes all the messages that were between the two of them. That was the end of episode 2. Episode 3, go ahead.
So episode 3, you got when they was went to like a flashback. It was a lot of them at the table. They was making jokes and everything, and they invited a girl over because she was sitting by herself, and they was picking on her. So
the girl's name is Kat or Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine is a girl that was being bullied. So she went and made a joke, a prank, and pulled pee on her and everything. So that's when all the rivalry started and kind of the hate towards each other.
Okay. Babe explained that from how he saw it. The next scene goes to back in a room by himself. He looking at the phone, looking at Rachel's phone, and Meg just walks in. You know how kids do. Walk in whenever they want. Meg walks in and catches him looking at the phone. And Meg like, who pink phone is that? Because boys don't have pink phones. And Jack like, this is my phone, girl. What you talking about? But we know when kids see some, they are liable to run their mouth. So he's scared now. I know he's scared that Meg gonna say something maybe to her mama. Hey, I saw Uncle Jack with a pink phone. Yeah, kids like to run their mouth. Even if they don't know what they talking about, they like to run their mouth. Tell all your business. All right, Nick.
She presses Anna's old friend group about the secrets that he's, kept hidden about what happened, about what's going on with him and Rachel.
Yeah, so the next scene is about Zoe, Jack's sister, talking to him. She talks to him, and she like, Jack, you've been acting weird since we found out, Rachel was the one that died. What's going on? You acting weird. Like, have the two of you guys been engaging? She like, Jack, I know. Please tell me you did not unalive Rachel. And, of course, Jack is like, no, you gotta believe me. I did not. That was not me. Here's where I was. This was our relationship, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes to the next scene about Priya when the guy at the coroner's office tells her about Jack being there.
Yeah, about Jack. Yeah, he was trying to do some stuff with the body, trying to use her facial recognition to open the phone. So he down there doing weird stuff. So he actually pulled her body out and used it to open her phone up.
So Jack went along and did that without Priya knowing. And when Priya goes to turn in DNA samples, the coroner was like, hey, did your partner ever find, his wedding band? She like,
Wedding band?
Wedding band. And then she just told the coroner, nah, he ain't found it. She later questions Jack about that. Oh, Jack is doing his own thing, doing his own detective work in the background. He goes to the cemetery to find out some, because apparently the way to the road that they were going to, him and Rachel were going to meet up with in the woods, the road past the cemetery. So he was like, maybe, the cemetery got some cameras or something, see who else is out there. So he goes to the cemetery and pops up, and he sees someone there. Who does Jack see at the cemetery?
He saw his old coach. there. He kind of walking across the field. He had a gun or whatever. He was like, "Hey, what you doing out here?" They got to talking and everything, and he was asking him questions. Did he see anything, heard anything? Then that's when he was like, "Oh, they do got cameras." He went and looked at the camera. It was somebody there, but we still don't know who.
Y'all, right hand, that's the left hand. Left hand, the right hand on the Bible. I figured out who it was then. From the back that he showed about the cemetery.
She said, I didn't want to believe it.
I figured out who it was then.
Thought it was somebody else.
Yep. Because after that, Jack goes to Anna and he asks Anna, hey, I know you were in Atlanta, so the small town is like, almost an hour outside of Atlanta. And he was like, I know you were in Atlanta, but just in case, were you at the cemetery the night Rachel died? Something ain't right, Jack said. Something ain't right about this. And Anna denies being there. But at that time, what did you think? That she was lying?
Yeah. We sang her.
So after that, we go to the scene of Richard apologizing for Lexi. With that, did I talk about how they had called, I missed that scene completely. They had called Anna back to do the news anchor because Lexi didn't show up for like a day.
Yep.
She didn't show up. She was missing for like a whole day until her shift. Then she just popped up. But they had already called Anna to replace her for that day because she was no-showing. And at the last minute, guess who shows up? Lexi. And Anna was mad. She drove back to, what's the name of the town?
Lanaga?
Yeah. She drove back to the Lanaga, pissed. And Richard was there to comfort her. Richard, Lexi's husband, was there to comfort her. He apologized and, I'm so sorry, my wife put you in this position. And I'm like, what you apologizing for?
Right.
Yeah. And then we cut to a scene of Miss Alice, Anna's mom, wondering, walking off. Again, remember at the beginning when Jack told Anna that her mama been wandering off at night, and that's a common symptom of dementia.
Yeah, so she telling her, you might need to come back with me, and you need to get some help, but her mama just, oh, I'm fine, and something going on. There's something going on.
Well, that night they didn't even call Anna when her mom was wandering off. They called Jack because Jack been the one that been coming to get her on her other wandering off spells. So, yep, they called Jack and Jack took her back to the house. Then we end the scene and one of our characters is dead. Who's dead?
Helen Wayne.
Yeah. Helen Wayne. So now Rachel, another friend, Helen Wayne is dead. And at this point, we have figured out, they've shown us that the person that Mr. Duffy was talking to on the phone was Helen. They've already shown us that scene that he was talking to Helen, and now she did.
Yep.
Episode 4.
Anna says she's the one. She was supposed to be meeting up with Helen Wayne at 7 or something like that, and then she found her like 7:45 dead. So now the word and got out Helen dead. And now they trying to figure out like.
Yeah, while they're on that scene, here go Anna again, already being somewhere. Anna was already at the scene. And seems like Jack is becoming a little suspicious, or Priya, or the two of them are becoming a little more suspicious about Anna. They like, how did you even get in here? There were no locks or windows or nothing. The doors were all locked. Nothing was broken. How did you get in here? And Anna was like, well, the other door was open. That was her explanation. Ellen was also jabbed, and she also had a friendship bracelet in her mouth.
Yep, that's what all the killings is tied together. Everybody's having this bracelet when they.
My next notes I have about while they were at the crime scene, Jack is just taking a look at everybody. He look out the window and he see Richard. Somebody calls him on the phone and was like, "Hey, forgot that earlier scene." Jack, after he had heard the two of them, Anna and Richard, engaging, he calls and was like, "Hey," call his work, of course, using his privilege. "Hey, can you run a background check on this Richard guy, Richard Jones?"
Yeah.
So the background check finally comes back, and his coworker calls him and like, "Hey, you remember that background check you told me to do on Richard Jones?" Yeah, so he was charged like 3 years ago with breaking a woman's jaw.
So
yeah,
Richard is a little wild.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. Let's talk about Jack finding going through Zoe's stuff. So I don't think we really mentioned it about Zoe also being from the flashback videos from Anna. Because Anna was recording stuff, but also they showed us like flashback memories. But Zoe, Jack's sister, was also a part of their friend group.
Yeah, Jack was going through Zoe stuff. And he found like the friendship bracelet stuff and just all the stuff from them was going to school together. So he trying to figure out like, is this stuff connected?
Yeah. So he has a conversation with Zoe, and Zoe was like, Anna also has one of these. Everybody that was in our friend group got a friendship bracelet. So Anna should have one of these too. Then they flash back to the scene where of her 16th birthday, of Anna's 16th birthday. And then it shows us that Catherine, who Rachel and Helen, it shows us where Rachel and Helen, even though they had been mean to Catherine, Anna wanted to give her another chance and invited her to her 16th birthday celebration. So it shows us that. And then we go on to Anna having a conversation with Miss Alice. And Miss Alice talks about or tell her, hey, we kind of got to move forward. We got to make peace with the past and, go on with our lives. Remember that too. And then Baby Love wants to get to the conference real fast because all of that stuff happened before the conference. But then we go to the horrible press conference. Now you can have that.
Yeah, the horrible press conference that Anna set up with the mayor, to try to smooth over everything and talk about all. It didn't go well. They started accusing Jack of knowing more, and it just got out of hand. Like, they started fighting, pushing and shoving each other. And then his sister getting up like, hey, don't talk about my brother like that. He ain't do this and all that. And it was just crazy. It seemed like this was a plan by somebody to make this happen. Cause all this confusion and chaos.
No, not just a plan by somebody. It was Anna's plan. Because Anna, talking to her boss on the phone before even a press conference, he like, if you really want to get back your spot, we need to be like one of the highest ranking news stations. Basically, we need to go viral. So Anna, trying to create a viral moment, that's when she puts together that press conference. She knew that wasn't going to go well. She set them up by putting together that press conference.
It worked.
Yeah, it did. It definitely worked. And you can tell the boss looking at the ratings and everything, how everybody viewing. And here comes good old Lexi. Lexi is like, she not finna come back and get her spot, so I gotta upstage her. I gotta do something different. So I'm gonna go, and she not requests, but she demands that the boss lets her do a field report with Duffy. So she like, Anna is after what's mine, so I'm finna go, steal her spot, even if it is just measly field reporting. I'm finna go steal that shine as well. I'm finna go get back what's mine, including her husband.
And then she interviewing Duffy, and he's talking about he's been still calling a number, and he's just up there crying and all that. And then he offers a $50K reward.
Yeah.
To anybody with any information about us and everything. The interview is over. They get an interview with her and Richard out there talking, and they feel like this is the big one, so that's what happens.
Yeah. And then it moves on to the scene of Jack, now questioning Anna. Now that he knows that Anna also has, their friendship bracelet and everything, and that they seem to have all been a closer friend group than what he thought, he goes back to question Anna about that, but it turns out he started questioning her, about everything, their whole relationship. And, when you bring up old feelings, old things come up, and they talk about, finally we figure out what happens with the loss and why she was gone for 1 year. And they say that they had a daughter named Charlotte, and Charlotte passed away as a kid. They didn't tell us what she died from. All they said was that, they told us eventually, they didn't tell us at that time. All they said was that they left Charlotte at home with Mom. So I'm like, who mom? Her mom? His mom? We never heard anything about what happened to Jack's parents.
Yeah, we didn't get much about Jack's past.
So I don't know why I would have thought that it could have been his parents, but no, it was Anna's mom.
All he got is his sister and his niece.
But next thing we know, they having this conversation, passionate old feelings come up. Here they come. Here's Anna and Jack engaging.
I miss you.
Engaging in the back of the truck, same place he was engaging with Rachel.
Somebody the back of that truck, I guess.
Alright. They also see, they show us the clip, those eerie clips. Somebody's watching. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Alright, episode 5.
So Priya thinks she is on the phone with somebody, and they talking about, so she's trying to figure out, this rivalry. Why is this like this?
This one, the first part, Priya gets a hold of the yearbook, and she points out, here goes Anna, here is Rachel, here is Helen, and Zoe. And she was like, okay, that's all the friends. She was like, this must have turned into a rivalry because, they no longer friends. So that's going to come back to later. Then we'll tell her about, who Zoe tells her about. Then we go to Jack doing his own side work again. Jack trying to cover his tracks. Jack goes up to Mr. Duffy, and they had this full-blown argument conversation. I'll let you talk about that. You good with that?
Yeah, so they just having this conversation about, he like, I know it was you, and you the one calling the phone, and just accusing him. I know you did. He want to arrest him, basically. I know you had something to do with your wife. And he tell him, it ain't me. You need to look in the mirror, it ain't me. So they going at it, and they just going at it. Well, Jack going at him. Cause Duffy, man, you crazy, man. Jack just losing it. Acting out.
Yeah. And they have this conversation, and Duffy, at the end of the conversation, Duffy like, you talking about you want to take me in, I need to confess. What about you? I might need to go to the sheriff because I got some information. Even though it was some maybe incriminating information on Rachel's phone about me, it's also some incriminating stuff about you. So he knows, and we didn't mention it earlier when they talked to Duffy. Duffy is like, hey, I know my wife was wild. We had an agreement. She could engage with whoever she wanted to as long as it was not in town, as long as the people she was engaging with was not in town. Yeah.
It definitely was in town. All around.
So he finds out between his conversation. So Helen, who was unalive, and Rachel were the closest. They were still close friends. And remember I told you guys, we found out that Helen was the one on the phone with Duffy.
Yeah.
when we was talking about that lady voice. So Duffy is like, I know it was, basically he tells Jack without telling him, I know it was you
sleeping with my wife
that was engaging with my wife. I know it was you. So you a suspect. And yeah, Jack tries to say, you know, turn yourself in. We got some incriminating evidence, but he know the phone hasn't been turned in, and he know in his head that Jack got that phone. We go to, I called in with the tip line. Tell that part.
Yeah, a guy called in and said, you know, he was with her the night before.
Get that, remember he's trying to get that
that 50K.
50K tip.
So
money from the tip.
We don't know who this guy is.
He was with Rachel, not on the night that she died, but like some months before he was with Rachel.
Yeah. And that
he was engaging with her. He admitted to engaging with her 10 to 20 times.
Yeah, she was arguing with somebody, and I think somebody had hit her or something. So, yeah, he was trying to say that she might have been abused when he saw her.
Yeah. He had drove her to a specific building in town, in the city in Atlanta, and she was up there for a few minutes. She come down and her face red like somebody had slapped her. So Jack, you know, he does his detective work, and it goes to the scene of him finding out who lived in this building that the man had drove her to.
Richard.
And
Lexi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lexi and Richard lives in the building that the man drove her to. What were you thinking at that point?
I was thinking there's some weird shit going on.
Yeah, like how the heck are they tied? Like,
right.
How are they tied to Rachel? You know, Rachel was engaging with a bunch of people. I'm trying to figure out, did she engage with Richard and Lexi, you know, slapped her? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Could be. That sounds like that might have happened.
Yeah, so we'll see in the upcoming scenes. Then we go to a scene of Priya talking to Zoe, and this is when Zoe tells her about Kat.
Yeah, Zoe told her about Kat being the other girl that was friends with them, but she didn't really know much about her or whatever. She hadn't saw her. Nobody know who she was.
Nobody know where she ended up or what happened to her.
So she just kind of like just disappeared, I guess, after school. She told Priya about that. So that's when she trying to go find out more about Catherine. What's her possible ties to this case? So
Priya goes back to her office. Then she gets a phone call from the phone people. So we didn't say it or we didn't mention it earlier, but to rewind on one of the scenes, once, you know, police investigation, they trying to find a phone, they gonna hook up with the phone company to see where it pinged. Sneaky Jack in the background, and when they canceled the request, calls to check, so like, hey, y'all taking a while with this phone request. And the man on the other line is like, that request was canceled like a couple days ago by Detective Harper. Priya, like, UTF.
Right.
And she orders him to go ahead and do it. So he calls her back during this scene and he tells her it's a whole bunch of outgoing messages, like 600 plus outgoing calls within the last few months. And then it's like 300 plus, you know, incoming calls. And most of the calls, 60%, which is a high percentage, 60% of the calls are coming from 3 numbers.
Yep.
Guess what 3 numbers? Her husband, of course. Helen, the best friend, of course. Third one.
Detective Jack Harper.
Detective Jack Harper. Priya is like, you see
something going on. She on to her.
Yep. After that, we get a flashback to Rachel and Helen being weird again. So we get a flashback to Anna's 16th birthday. And they are on her bed. She's trying on bras. Anna's trying on bras. Rachel takes a picture of her in her bra.
Yeah, it's real weird. Like,
Very weird. And we go to later that day. They are out, in the woods, having a little birthday party. Some guys show up.
these guys look old.
They look much older than them. They look like they probably in their mid-20s. At the time, they like 16, 17. But these guys in their mid-20s. And we see Rachel slip one of the guys Anna's picture, the one where Anna has the bra on. And he slips Rachel some money.
So it's like he was paying for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was going on.
And then we get the full scene that at the time, Kat, in that same scene, Kat is also abused. Yeah. It ends where Kat is being abused by all three of those guys that showed up. So, next scene we go to is Jack in his house cleaning up and water's dripping from the ceiling. What happened then?
Well, go upstairs. He found Zoe dead, drowning in a bathtub of her own blood.
Zoe unalive.
And so he trying to, rescue her and everything.
Revive
her.
Yeah.
It just was too late, So that's what happened with Jack. So that makes 4 of the friends.
Yeah. Now, that's 3. Rachel, Helen, and Zoe. So now that's them gone, unalive. We go to a scene where Anna and Richard, tries to go back to their hotel. The hotel people like, here go your stuff, but you no longer have a room. They say somebody from the news station called and told us you were no longer needing your room. A lady. They specifically said a lady from the news station told us you no longer needed the room. So we sold it and we sold out. And everybody in town sold out. So good luck. They get back to the car. Anna freaking out like, what we gonna do? Where we gonna stay? And I'm like, what about your mama house? I'm like, she never once thought about going to stay with her mama. Or, I know you and Jack ain't on good terms in y'all marriage. You need a place to stay. I'm sure he'll let you stay there.
Yeah.
But Richard ends up admitting, yeah.
I got a place.
We can go to my in-laws. They got a cabin like 40 minutes from here. We can just go, or closer. He said close. He didn't say how long. So maybe it was like 20 minutes. My in-laws got a cabin, close by, so we can go there. And I'm like, what?
Right, because he ain't never mentioned this. And she's like, in-laws? You ain't never said nothing about... But, of course, he married to Lexi or whatever, but he never talked about in-laws.
Yeah, he never talked about his in-laws. He never even talked about knowing anything about that town. Lexi didn't talk about knowing anything about that town either. So... they driving to the cabin, and Anna was like, how far? And how do you know this place? And why would your in-laws buy, a place out here? The people that stay out here, we all kind of know each other. So I wonder, if I knew your in-laws. And he like, maybe not. But they get to the cabin. Anna was like, is Lexi in there? If she in there, I want to go home. I'm leaving. I don't want to deal with her. They got this feud going back and forth. And she like, I don't want to deal with Lexi. I'm going to call me a cab.
He like, good luck with that. You in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So she come back inside and like, okay, yeah, you right. It's hard to get a car out here. So he's like, yeah, just chill, Gonna talk to Lexi and y'all gonna squash this thing. But he had all this stuff on the table. Like, she was like, what is this stuff?
So part of the house was like covered up. It looked like they was making repairs, like with that plastic, that they put around, like when they painting.
Tarp.
Yeah. So part of it is covered up with tarp, and then on the table is a hammer,
tape, condoms, and just all type of weird stuff.
Yeah. So he goes back. I guess he go back to talk to Lexi, and Anna is walking around. She walking around looking at stuff. You know how you gotta be nosy in somebody else's house. And of course, she trying to figure out, who his in-laws are. So she goes looking at the pictures on the wall. And guess what she finds out? What did she see first when she looking at the pictures on the wall?
She looking at the pictures on the wall. So it's like a picture of him. A picture of Richard
and Lexi. Yeah. Their wedding picture was on the wall.
It was her other sisters on there too. Andrea.
But we haven't mentioned that when Priya was doing her background investigation and stuff, after Zoe told her that Kat was a part of the group and nobody knows what happened to Kat, Priya goes to do her research to find out what happened to her, and she can't really find anything on Kat. The only thing that she finds on Kat is that Kat's sister died at a young age when she was still a teenager or, nearing the end of her teens. And at the time, that was one of the most tragic things that happened, in the town. But that's the only thing she found out about Kat because she saw her name in the obituary was that the sister had died. And now we looking at Anna in the house and the pictures on the wall. Here goes the sister's obituary on one of the pictures. Anna moves the obituary from on top of the picture. And guess whose face we see? Kat. So there's also other pictures of Lexi and Anna looking back and forth. Anna figures out that Kat is Lexi. Kat has lost a whole bunch of weight and rebranded herself to be Lexi Jones. So Anna's head starts to go every which way. And that ends episode 5. Final episode 6.
Episode 6. So yeah. Episode 6 comes on and
it's a flashback of Lexi talking to her sister, or her sister making fun of her.
Yeah. They at that house, that same house that they at right now, Anna and them at. And she was like, she's eating all this food, and she making jokes of her like, you gonna sit here and eat all your feelings away. And so she got upset. They ran out to go out in the water or something like that. So she was like, oh yeah, could you bring my asthma pump or whatever. So yeah, she Kat grab it, Lexi grab it.
You can call her Kat at that point. Yeah, she's still heavy-set teenage Kat at that point.
She's still Kat. So Kat, mad, I'm tired of this. She's got to a point where she can't take it no more. So she, got the pump and just getting all the asthma pump stuff out of it, all the air out of it.
She letting all the medicine out. As she walking to give her sister her pump, she's letting all of the medicine out of there. So the next time when her sister have an asthma attack, it ain't gonna be no medicine in there.
Nope.
Yeah. So that's how we figure out, how her sister passed away. She had an asthma attack on the boat that day.
Kat skirted all that medicine out of there on purpose.
Skirted? That's real country.
I can't say the other word. That's not appropriate to say the other word.
What other word?
So she just sprayed all that out of there?
Yeah, sprayed. That's appropriate.
Oh yeah, she killed her own sister.
She's gonna be editing. Then we go back to the scene. We go back to present day where Anna is walking around the house and she figures out that Lexi is Kat. She immediately calls Jack and was like, hey, I got some news for you. You gonna want to get here right now. She dropped her location, shared her location with him. Jack is on the phone crying. He just found his sister in the tub. he crying like, I lost my sister, she gone. And Anna trying to explain to him what's going on. But that scene gets cut, and as Anna is talking to Jack, here comes, what's his name?
Richard.
Yeah, what happened there?
Richard, he was trying to get to her or whatever.
He basically took the phone out of her hand.
He took the phone out of her hand, and you shouldn't have done that. And basically she tried to lock him out. She did push him out or whatever.
Jack, he hears all of the commotion between Anna and Richard. So he runs out of the house. By the time he running out the house to go check on Anna to see what's going on, here comes Priya pulling up in the yard. Priya like, Jack, hands up. Where you headed to? You can't go nowhere. I'm taking you in. Priya like, I found out all this information about you. You've been hiding the phone. You've been talking to Rachel. You were with her tonight. I found out all of this information. I'm taking you in. And Jack like, I gotta go, get Anna. Because she's in danger right now. I gotta leave. And Priya like, no, we going to the station right now. I'm not hearing none of what you're talking about. He's like, my wife. And Priya like, no. So he inches toward Priya and slaps the gun out of her hand. Pistol whips her with the gun. Yeah, he run off. He made sure he didn't hurt her too bad, but he knew enough to knock her out, So he goes, he's racing to Anna to get to Anna, and that's when Lexi comes out for the fight scene while he's racing to Anna in the car.
Yeah, she came out for and they fighting, and she trying to like, what are you doing? And she jump on her, and next thing you know, she tried to get to the gun.
Jack came in to jump in front of the gun. Jack, by the time he pulls up, Lexi and Anna are laying on the floor. Anna and Lexi look over and sees that the pew-pew was on the ground. Lexi rolls over to it, picks it up. By the time Jack gets in the house, he jumps in front of what he thought was Lexi shooting Anna. Turns out
the chamber was empty.
Yeah, it was empty.
Yeah.
And at the same time that Lexi fires off the empty round, that shot from the window comes in, and that shot comes in from Priya. Priya shoots Kat and unalives her.
Headshot.
So that ends the scene. That ends all of the scenes. And Anna finally gets to explain, to Jack. Jack gets to explain to Priya everything that's going on. And after that, we see the people cleaning out, the other officers and detectives cleaning out Jack or searching Lexi and Richard's stuff. And they find evidence, evidence. They find, what did they find from Rachel in the house?
Bracelets.
They found a bracelet, but they also found Rachel's nail clippings, which they didn't release, but her nails were clipped. Oh, yeah. So they found those in there. They found some more evidence that was linking them to all three unalivings. So there we go. Richard gets arrested and Kat is unalived. So fast forwards to a year later to wrap it all up, to give us some conclusion on how life has been since this situation took place. A year later, and it shows us Jack with Meg, his niece. He's looking like the perfect father, doing everything.
Yeah.
And then what about Anna?
Then Anna was, she got her spot back permanently. She's just back in her limelight. But it's a surprise also with her and Jack. She's expecting.
Yep. She's pretty big, and I always dislike those fake baby bumps that they use because they do not look real.
It's hard to find a good belly bump in Hollywood.
I don't know. Somebody need to come up with one that looks more believable because she was hanging low, real low. But yeah, Anna and Jack are expecting, and they give us, so they're a happy family now. Jack, Anna, and Meg, they have a ready-made family. Then here comes the new baby. They finna be a happy family. So we go now to Miss Alice's place. Alice, Jack, and Meg are playing outside doing some arts and crafts. Anna is reading what we thought at first was a letter or a confession letter from Richard, since he was locked up. I thought it was a confession from Richard. Who did you think the letter was from at first?
I thought it was something from Richard.
Yeah.
Because it can't be something about it. Lexi dead.
Yeah.
All the girls dead. So, yeah, it had to be from him. So, yeah, she reading the letter and everything.
Yeah, and while she's reading the letter, it gives us a flashback of Miss Alice. Miss Alice is talking about how happy she was to see her daughter Anna on TV and how proud she was and how sad she was when Anna was no longer on TV. So here we finally find out what happens and why Anna was no longer on TV. Miss Alice kind of goes through the story that she was so proud of and happy for Anna when she not just got the job, but she saw how happy she was at the job and her life with Jack. And she was like, I didn't think anything could make her more happy until I saw her become a mother, to Charlotte. So she was like, that's the happiest that she's ever been. And then she was like, I was so surprised when you guys finally asked me to, watch Charlotte. So it's turning out this letter is from Miss Alice, and Miss Alice is like giving her a recount of, how she doing. And she was like, what happened, when she was watching Charlotte, she don't really know what happened because she laid her down to go to bed and, she didn't wake up, Charlotte. But we know that to be, I know that to be, I took child development and some other stuff, but that is something that can't happen. Babies going to bed and not waking up from different reasons, different causes. Sudden infant death syndrome is something that can occur. So that's what basically happened to Charlotte, and Anna lost it after that. She was just not herself. She couldn't go back to work. She disappeared, disconnected with Jack, all of that. And that happened for a year. And Miss Alice was like, that was like the worst time. I didn't know what happened to you. I didn't know how you were feeling. I didn't know how to support you. So she started watching Anna would record herself, and just like we saw the flashback of the recording of her 16th birthday, she had some other recordings, and her mom would just watch those, since she could no longer watch her on TV. And one of the things that she watched, what was one of the things that she finally, after watching like 15 other tapes, the final tape that she watched was
the tape of the abuse that happened on Apple.
Yeah.
And it just...
So previously, with that tape, it had cut off. It kept cutting off in the other scenes that they would show us, the flashbacks. But they showed Miss Alice watching the full tape. So after what we thought was the end was Kat getting assaulted, Anna actually saved Kat from being assaulted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Catherine's place, because Anna pushed the guys off of her and Catherine ran away. In her place, they put Anna. Anna was calling out to Kat, Kat, I helped you, come back and help me. Kat, peace out, you on your own. But they did assault Anna, and the whole assault was caught on tape. And her mom,
she just lost it.
She lost it after that.
She went into a dark place.
Yeah, she went into a very dark place after that. After that, we see her get upset and angry and is mad. She comes up with a plan. We get this is the final plot twist. We see Miss Alice visiting Charlotte at the cemetery. She watches as Jack and Rachel's car drive by, and she like, what's going on, you know? So she follows them into the woods, you know, just to be nosy. Then she sees that other scene that we saw in the beginning. She sees Jack and Rachel engaging in the back seat of the trunk.
Pumping.
Yeah. So then we get a turn of the camera. Not only does Miss Alice see it, Miss Alice also sees Anna. She saw Anna watching them while she was watching them as well. So she like, dang, they heard my daughter all over again. So that's when she just lost it. Completely lost it. She is the one that did all the unalivings, basically.
It was the mama.
It was Miss Alice. She, in a fit of rage, she was the one who sliced Rachel 40 times.
Dice.
40 times, and then went on to Helen, and all the doors were locked, as Jack pointed out, but they were locked because she had all the keys to everything. As the housekeeper, janitor, all of that, you always got the keys to everything. Why are you looking like that?
Cause I got keys to a lot of places.
You gonna go out there and analyze somebody?
No.
Yeah, no. But yeah, you always have access to a lot of things, and that's what she was saying. She was so trusted in the community that she had access to everything. And then the one for Zoe, she explained Zoe's unalive, and she did that because Zoe was in a way. Jack was already taking care of Meg like he was the daddy. That's why we thought that.
Yeah.
That was his daughter in the beginning. But she told Anna that she unalived Zoe so that she could have her ready-made family. Miss Alice did all of this, and nobody clued in on her because she was smart enough to already have a cover-up. Dementia.
So all her
wandering off at night,
walking in the middle of the street naked, it was all a give.
Yeah, so nobody would suspect her.
Which is smart. Sick, but
very smart. But as I told y'all earlier, your girl guessed it. I figured out that it was Miss Alice, because I was like, after they showed the scene of the Miss Alice walking Anna into the school, and them saying, yeah, that's the housekeeper daughter. Miss Alice ain't like that. And I was like, a mama gonna always protect their kid, and kids are rude, you know, especially high school, middle school. But Miss Alice was watching them kids. And that video just made it worse, and she wanted her revenge.
She got it.
Yeah.
Never would have expected. I was wrong.
Who did you guess it was?
I thought it was Anna.
Anna, yeah.
You know, because
at one point I thought it was Anna too.
Because it's just like, she always the first one on the scene. It was just so coincidental that it was her, but I didn't think the mom. I actually thought the mama was. You
thought her dementia was really bad?
I mean, that's what usually happens.
Oh, she was acting. She was good acting too.
You know, have a parent and they move off, go off, and the mama and the dad just be there getting old. They don't come back and check on me. Like, oh, I didn't know you was sick.
Yeah. So, moral of the story, what was the lesson you learned from this series?
Be honest.
Honest in what ways?
Every way. You know, honest with my partner, myself. You know, you really can't trust what somebody say, but they could be living a double life, so you don't know. But I learned, like, it's just keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open and, you know, be there for the one that was there for you.
Yeah. My lesson that I took away from this was be kind to everybody. That's always a goal of mine and something that I'm working on. being kind to people in general, even when I don't feel well, or even when their attitude is funky and stanky. Yeah, being kind. I'm working on that. But that would have saved a lot of them trouble and Kat from even being in a situation if a lot of them were more nice. Be kind. Because you never know what's going on or what will happen to you. You may not get your due diligence. You may not get your karma while you're in the moment. But 10 years down the line, it may come back to bite you. Alright, thank you guys for watching another mukbang. You guys come back, like, comment, share,
and subscribe to see where we go next.
See y'all. Alright, I gotta go.